Hello, hello, my friends. Another candle review for you today. We're going to be talking about Kringle Candle Pumpkin Rum Toddy. Now, before I get into this review, I do always like to disclose when a candle has been sent to me in PR, and that is the case for this candle today. This candle was kindly sent to me from Kringle Candle. I am a brand ambassador with them. However, you guys who have been here for any length of time know that my review and my thoughts are always my own. I tend to share the pros and cons of every candle that I burn, whether or not I spent money on it or not. So let's go ahead and talk about this candle. This is their standard 2-wick large jar. This is part of the new fall 2024 lineup. And this candle, I believe, retails for $31. It is available in a medium-sized 2-wick tumbler as well as a 3-wick and wax melt. When they get the daylight machine up and running again, it will be available in that format as well. Let's go ahead and talk about the fragrance notes on this candle. The fragrance notes are pumpkin spice, citrus. Those are the top notes. Mid notes of rum and fruit. Base note of butter and vanilla. The pour date of this candle is May 31st, 2024. And I do always like to let you guys know, sorry, I just bumped the table there. I do always like to let you all know that in the description box down below, I will reiterate those fragrance notes, the pour date, and I also give you the environmental factors, the layout, the size of my home, so that way when I get to the portion of this video when I tell you my opinion about how well this candle is performing for me, you can compare my home to yours and see if this candle would be a good fit for your home. All right, so what does my nose smell with this candle? This is an interesting candle. It is definitely a fall fragrance, in my opinion. It's a fragrance that, to be honest with you, I like it, but I don't think that I particularly love it. Now, what I do love is this packaging. The picture here, I think, is absolutely stunning. It makes me long for like cozy days, colder days where we can just snuggle up with a blanket and have like a hot drink with us. Those days, for those of you who know where I live in Arizona, so those days are really far off for me still. But for those of you who get to enjoy that a little bit sooner, I am quite frankly jealous. The fragrances on here that I definitely pick up, my nose does detect pumpkin spice. And while I wouldn't say that I detect rum in here, because rum has like a sweet booziness to me, and I wouldn't really say that this candle is boozy on, upon burn. This candle does have like a hot drink aspect to it that I am smelling in here. Now, I think what's throwing my nose off a little bit is that I am detecting a little bit of that citrus and fruit mixed with the pumpkin spice, and I'm not really sure what I think about it, to be honest with you. I like citrus or orange fragrances when they are mixed with clove for more of like a pomander type of fragrance, but in terms of like cinnamon and citrus, and they're saying whatever fruit is here in the mid note, I don't know if it's like a berry or maybe it's apple. I don't know. There's just something about this candle that while I like it, I don't think that the fragrance is one that I just find myself clamoring for more of. Now, that being said, I do believe that this complements a lot of other more quote unquote generic pumpkin fragrances, and I mean that in the best of ways because I'm your girl here who loves a good generic pumpkin fragrance. I loved the Reserve candle last year, Great Pumpkin. I like Homeworks' Farm Stand Pumpkin. So I don't say that as a knock, but I will tell you that I think that this fragrance is, I have never had a hot toddy, to be honest with you, so I guess I can't say whether or not this is authentic, but this reminds me of like a pumpkin tea that I would get that might be spiked with a little bit of rum in it. I guess, if that's what a pumpkin rum toddy would be, then I suppose that it's authentic. But I think for me more so, I think the reason why I only like it, but it's not in a love category for me, is because, well, I like tea fragrances, but I just don't find myself clamoring for them. I think this time of year, I'm definitely more of a gourmand bakery. That's what I tend to gravitate more towards, I would say, in the fall than tea fragrances. Tea fragrances I tend to like more so in like the early spring or late winter. So I don't know, maybe it could be the time of year, but I do like it. Like I said, I like it. I don't love it. But my nose does definitely detect like some type of cinnamon. I get rum, but not super boozy rum. It just smells like maybe there's just a little bit of a splash of rum in a hot tea. That's what it smells like. And the tea, to me, I want to make it very clear, is not the chai tea. It's not a black tea. It's definitely, it reminds me of the pumpkin tea that I get from Trader Joe's during this time of year. That's what it reminds me of. I don't really get any of the butter or vanilla in here. Like I said, there's nothing really gourmand to this, other than it's just a good tea fragrance. Let's go ahead and talk about the performance of this candle, because I do have some notes to share with you guys on the performance. So I'm gonna turn this candle to the side here, and you can probably see at the top of this candle that there is some soot collecting around the vessel, and you can see that these flames are beyond healthy, I would say. Are they flamethrowers? Not yet. I've had this candle lit for about 3.5 hours now, and I will be extinguishing it when I get done with this review, because I will insert a picture here, but you can probably already see it happening on these wicks. These wicks, for whatever reason, are very similar to the wild wicks that we had in the late summer reserve candles that a lot of us ambassadors were talking about, like, hey, you're gonna wanna watch the wicks on this one. And I made the mistake of having this candle lit for, gosh, probably 5 or 6 hours, which typically with Kringle candles, I can do that. Not that the manufacturer tells you to do that, but you typically can get away with that with the Kringles because they burn so cleanly. But I think it must have been like on the second burn. I had it lit for a long period of time, and I came into my room and I was like, whoa, these wicks are wild. There were puffs of soot coming up from it, and I was dealing with soot already around the top here. Now that typically with Kringle candles, I usually don't get soot with a lot of my Kringle candles. The country jars, yes, I do, and I think that's a byproduct of the vessel itself. But on a lot of these Kringle vessels, the only time that I will get soot around the rim is usually when I start getting to about down here in terms of how much wax is left, and you know, then I'm letting them burn longer and whatnot. That's usually the only time. I am not accustomed to seeing soot accumulate this early on in the burn. So I do want to let you guys know about that, just in case you are somebody who is very particular about sooting. You will want to know that. I definitely trim these wicks before I light every time. Before I light it every time, I definitely trim these wicks. So you do want to know about that. That being said, strength and throw for this candle, y'all, it's a pretty solid performer. This one I am going to give about a solid 8. Definitely fills up my open concept living room. It throws into the kitchen, but it's still a very pleasant fragrance, especially when you have a fragrance note like a spice, which I detect in this candle to be cinnamon. When you have any kind of like cinnamon note, if it's too strong, I know a lot of people can find that off-putting. Some people can find it to be very headache inducing. I don't think the fragrance is so strong that it's going to do that. It's still a very pleasant and noticeable fragrance, but again, it's not going to smack you over the head, hit you in the face, you know, with fragrance. It is noticeable, it is detectable. People notice it when they come into my home, and they do enjoy it, but it projects quite well, especially for this 2-wick format. I know that for me personally, I get better projection from a lot of their 3 wicks. So I'm actually surprised with, I shouldn't say I'm surprised, because truthfully, I think that the reason why this one throws so well just comes down to the nature of the fragrance oils. Now that I have been, I've been burning candles since I was a teenager, and I'm almost 40 now. But I have come down to believe that a lot of fragrances, some of them by nature, the oils that they use are going to throw better. Like, for example, when you have a cinnamon note in there, cinnamon by nature tends to be a very pungent and strong fragrance. So it's going to travel a little bit better than, say, like your basic vanilla. Overall, this candle is not going to be a repurchase for me. Honestly, I could see this being a candle that might be on the chopping block, not necessarily because I flat out don't like it or don't enjoy it. However, because I just feel kind of meh about it, I actually have a couple of people in my life who really enjoy fragrances, and I think that there's some that may really, really like this candle. If you caught my candle haul video that I did over the weekend, I was just being really honest with you and sharing with you that I'm still always trying to strike that balance between burning candles that I personally really enjoy and love, and I'm nostalgic about, to be honest, during this time of the year, with the need to constantly be reviewing all of the new stuff for you guys to be informed about making candle purchases. And so that is the only reason where I could see this one possibly being decluttered or moved along to somebody else. But I may change my mind. There's a couple of other candles that I want to try burning this one with, and if it's a good complementary scent, then I could see it staying in my collection. I do have a discount code with Kringle Candle. My discount code Katie15 will save you 15% off of your purchase over there. That is an affiliate code that is eligible for a commission, so please only use that if you are comfortable doing so. Sometimes it works in conjunction with sales and other times it doesn't. So if you are comfortable using affiliate codes, feel free to type it in at any time. And if you're getting a better discount than the 15%, then I always say go with that every day that ends in Y. But I do appreciate it if you choose to use it because it does support my channel, and it also tells Kringle to keep sending me candles so that way I can review all of them for you. And I know that my husband greatly appreciates not having to buy every single new candle release. So please hit thumbs up if you found this video helpful or if you enjoyed it. Feel free to comment down below if this is a candle that you have purchased. I know that they had the 3-wick candle sale going on, and I know quite a few of you, just looking at what was going on in the Kringle Facebook group, I know quite a few of you guys picked up some of these new fall fragrances in the 3 wicks because that $12.95 sale was a pretty good deal. But let me know if you guys have purchased this candle, what your thoughts are on it. I always like to hear your feedback. I do want to say thank you so very, very much for spending your time here with me today. And until my next one, I hope you all go out and have a very blessed day. Bye.